Hello, 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 how are you doing? I am officially here with, do you know what, we're going to do a sit down chatty video. I am currently in Dubai and it is my third ever solo trip. I have just gotten ready, by the way, to go to Global Village for the evening, but I thought I'd put some PJs on to sit down and talk to you because me sitting down in a dress and talking to you, it's not very me. So yeah, I've tried to find a place where I can put up this camera without me having a tripod where you can also see me, and the only solution I have, which is near the light, is you on the table, me fully on the sofa, like just chilling. So that's the setup we're going for. I mean, we are fully chilling together. I feel like this will do. Now, I asked you guys to ask me questions over on Instagram about solo trips, and you genuinely did not hold back, and I'm so happy about that because I was like, oh god, how awkward if nobody puts anything in. So before we get into it, I think I should just tell you guys a bit about what got me into taking solo trips. My first solo trip was November last year, and I went to New York. I believe it was for 5 days, I can't quite remember, but that trip was very, very significant for me for quite a few reasons. First of all, in around July 2024, I overcame my fear of failure, which took months to do. It didn't just happen overnight. I overcame my fear of failure, I quit a job, I moved city. But before I'd done any of that, whilst deciding to quit my job, because it was a huge risk, you know, having like stability, having an income to then having nothing, I said, once I reach a certain goal, I have fucking made it moment, which is I've come away from a certain job, I've come away from certain feelings, and I'm just me again. I feel complete again, and I need something like a milestone and a celebration to do that. So I put on, like, it was kind of like a vision board, New York. I kind of drew the buildings. I was like, I'm going to the concrete jungle, and it's a huge dream to go to New York. I feel like everyone loves New York, but I was like, I'm going to New York. Very out there for me. So I booked it because of that, and then I also had to overcome other things. So the thing that's always stopped me, I think, from solo traveling is my lack of confidence, which I've grown my confidence in the past year. It's absolutely insane. But also I had, like, right, was it logic or emotion? I had these fears about going away alone, and it wasn't anything like I'm gonna get kidnapped. The fears were perfectionism. What if I go and I don't do absolutely everything that you're meant to do and I fuck it up? And then secondly, it's just like fear of going alone, and again, like, I've never had to go on a trip and plan it myself. So it's like perfectionism, you're actually gonna have to put in the work, this trip is all down to you. And then I sat back and I just thought, this trip doesn't need to be perfect. Like, it's whatever I want it to be. And as soon as I normalized that for myself, I was like, hang on a minute, this is my trip. No one tells me what to do. It's whatever I want to do in New York. Like, I'm free to do whatever I want. That freedom has definitely come ever since quitting my job, because I'm like, hang on, I can do what I want to do. Like, I became my own boss for a reason, right? Then I booked New York. I remember being in my bedroom and I doing it really, really slyly. I was like, okay, this looks like a good hotel. I was on TikTok, like, hotel recommendations. I also had to overcome money mindset, because I was like, oh, I'm spending this much money on myself. But my money mindset is money always returns to me. That money is going to come back, whether it's in memories, whether that's in business, whatever it is, that money will come back to me. So I went to New York in November. Unreal trip. We'll probably talk about it some more in this video. And then I recently went to Paris. That was just 24 hours by myself. That was in April, and now it's May 2025, and I am in Dubai for 5 nights. And I want to basically inspire you guys to solo travel, but also maybe take away some of the nerves that you may be having. So I want to get into some questions. I can talk forever if I'm being completely honest, but obviously I've also got to go to Global Village. So yeah, I ask questions over on Instagram. My Instagram is gazina.lifts. Tonight I'm actually launching a new Instagram account, which is gazina_gil_. Pretty crazy. We'll do a background story to that one another day. Let's start from the beginning. The first question I got is, how do you know where to go? For me, it's a calling. So do you know how I just said, like, you have freedom with solo traveling? Like, you have freedom in life. It's wherever it is you want to go. For New York, I just think that's a place where dreams come true. Like, concrete jungle where dreams are made of. I just wanted to go. With Paris, I actually went because it was a networking sort of event, and again, it's a place that I wanted to go. It's on my 2025 vision board. New York was on my 2024 vision board. And then how do you know where to go? So with Dubai, this sounds really woo-woo, and I used to always be like, oh, that's so woo-woo, but I had a calling for Dubai, and I had a calling for Dubai around March, and me and my sister usually do trips together in May, and I was like, okay, maybe we'll go to Dubai. It just wasn't happening. Like, I just knew it wasn't actually going to happen. I didn't want to have to wait. But in March, I just had this deep calling of need to go to Dubai. Dubai is your next place. It was on my vision board as well, and I was like, that's the place I want to go. So in terms of how do I know where to go, I know where in the world I want to visit. So then I'll just decide, okay, what time of year is good for that? Can I book it? Can I get booked? Let's go. It honestly is that simple. I think sometimes sometimes we catastrophize and we procrastinate and we make it a really, really big deal. If there's all these places that you want to go on your list, rather than being like, oh, I'm so overwhelmed, I don't know where to go, pick a place and go. Then you're going to slowly make your way through that list. So hopefully that answers that question. And it also, to be honest, depends on where I am. Sorry, this is very long-winded. It depends where I am in my life. New York was like, I fucking made it. Paris was networking and getting outside my comfort zone. Dubai right now is clarity. It's making decisions and it's being alone to gather my thoughts about my next steps moving forward. So each solo trip has a meaning behind it and a purpose behind it. So yeah, that also plays a part. What do you do? What do you do when you go on a solo trip? Honestly, whatever a tourist would do. In New York, for New York, I did go on ChatGPT and I was like, I am a female solo traveler. I'm going to New York for the first time. I'm staying in this hotel, like help me out. This is everything I want to do. Any recommendations? But essentially before I even went on ChatGPT, I was on TikTok. Everyone goes there for research. So I was looking at what other people are doing. I was like, okay, is this something I wanted to do? Something I had to overcome for New York and for Dubai actually is overwhelm. When you look at these places and you do like online research like TikTok, so many recommendations out there, like so many, because everyone likes to do different things. Everyone's going for a different time limit. Everyone has different preferences. Like you don't have to do everything, believe me. You don't have to do everything. You just have to do what you want to do. So for New York, I've done a lot of touristy things and I loved every single minute of it. Sunrise, Brooklyn Bridge, Empire State, the Summit building, any sort of high line that I could see, I booked. I'm obsessed with the skyline of New York. I'm obsessed. In Paris, what's the question? What do you do? I honestly was just there like, I want to see the Eiffel Tower, I want to see the Arch, and I want to see the Louvre, and then I have a dinner to go to. I was there for 24 hours, so I was like, what can I get done? And then I wanted to eat at Kite because it's viral. Got that done. In Dubai, I've been very overwhelmed with Dubai. I've literally had to just say to myself, because I had that list. I literally just had to say to myself, I'm gonna come back to Dubai another day, and I've taken away the overwhelm because even though I'd love to go out there and do absolutely everything that Dubai has to offer, I am also here to rest. I'm also here to get clarity. I'm also here to be with my thoughts and not just be distracted. Like I'm not here to just like run around and not think. I'm here to actually deal with what's happening up here. So then when I go back home, I like know what I'm doing, if that makes sense. So yeah, what do? I go out for dinners. I sit alone, I eat alone. I sunbathe. This is my first sunbathing one. I do tourist attractions. I look at like the key sites. I take photos. I take a lot of photos. I was that girl who was scared to be like in front of a camera. Now I'm always there like, I'm gonna get my photo. In New York, I had so many strangers take the best photos of me. Gorgeous. So yeah, I basically run around, I do what tourists do, I eat alone, I book big restaurants. Yeah, whatever there is to do in that place that I'm going. Honestly, like when you do your research, it's whatever you make of it. Is it safe? I personally only choose places that I believe are safe and I don't roam around the streets at like 11 p.m. So again, New York, I saw a lot of people say like, New York isn't safe for female solo travelers. I stayed in Times Square. I wasn't ever really out late. There was one evening where I was at like Times Square at midnight, but that's because I'd already been there 3 days and I knew all the roads and I knew what felt safe for me and I knew my way around. So yeah, I stay in areas that are safe. I stay where it's kind of busy. I don't take any side streets. When it comes to solo travel, I just won't be booking somewhere like Brazil. I don't think that's safe. I won't be booking somewhere where I don't know the language and like it's not going to be easy for me to navigate. It is safe if you choose to go to safe places, 100%. Do your research, stay in crowded areas, stay in areas where again there's loads of tourists, and just don't be gallivanting on the streets at night. Just don't do that. Be an adult, take some responsibility. Someone said overall tips. I'm gonna say for this one something very different. I think a lot of people here would say do your research, get an itinerary, yada yada yada. I'm gonna say start small. If you cannot go to the gym alone, if you cannot go to a coffee shop in your local area alone, if you cannot go to the cinema alone, I think a solo trip is very out there. I think a solo trip is so good when you're okay speaking to other people, you smile at other people, you don't mind communicating, you're really good at doing things alone, you're okay ordering first, you're okay asking for the bill. Even though a solo trip actually pushes you outside your comfort zone to do those things, if you can't do things alone at home, start there. Do some things alone at home first. For my 23rd birthday, I'm 26 now, I booked myself to go solo to the Langham in London. Really beautiful hotel. I stayed there overnight by myself and I was like, I can really do things alone, and I got so comfortable in my own company. But I guess what you don't want to do is book to go on a solo trip and then like you're there and you're like, oh my god, I feel so lonely, there's no one to speak to, yada yada yada. Other tips would be go to places you actually want to go to and don't be a perfectionist. You don't have to do every single thing in that place, and don't forget to freaking enjoy it. What made me want to do one, to prove to myself I can do hard things, things and to continue my journey of independence. So the whole like, how do you get comfortable doing things alone? Mine started by going to the gym alone. Okay, so a bit of a backstory. The reason I'm so comfortable doing things alone is I think I've had to learn the hard way to be independent and kind of do things for myself. Never had a massive friendship group, never really had people to always lean on. And I used to think that was such a thing to be quite depressed about. I was like, oh great, like I don't have anyone to do these things with, so I'm just not gonna live the best life ever. And I was like, hang on a minute, you still get to live your best freaking life, but you get to do things alone. So there's also a huge difference between being alone and being lonely. But my whole like, how do you get independent to do things alone? I always say it started from when I was at uni. In my 3rd year, I started going to the gym with 2 of my friends and they got me into it. So then I started going and we used to all go in the morning, but then it got to a point where like they kept bailing, like they weren't going, and I was like, well, I'm gonna go anyway. So I continued to show up for me. Those people don't really go to the gym anymore, but I've continued and I've carried on, and it's because I showed up for me regardless, and that's allowed me to just like gain so much independence. Booking that hotel alone, solo dinners, coffee shops alone, cinema dates alone. I think as soon as you can get comfortable with that, it makes it so much easier. But yes, I can't remember where I was going with that, but what made you want to do one? Tick off things on my vision board, live this life for me and not for anybody else. If no one else can go, just go alone. I realized this trip that mine is like, that's what other people say. For me, it's I don't even ask anyone if they want to go anymore. I just book it because I freaking love my company and I know I'm gonna have a good time. How do you connect/network when you solo travel, or you solo travel with no intention of meeting new people? Different stories here. I don't ever really have the intention of I'm gonna go on this solo trip and I am going to meet people. Like I'm not on the streets like trying to like get interaction, but sometimes it happens and it can be the most wholesome thing. In New York, I'm gonna say New York's a very friendly place. I think if you're a solo traveler and maybe this is just my experience, but I feel like as a solo traveler in New York, people could tell I was alone, so I was like trying to get pictures. They'd offer to take it for me and they would just kind of like ask me questions, just be so lovely. And I met this one girl really randomly, but I booked to go on this helicopter ride and it got rescheduled from like one of the days to the others, and it was the day before I was flying home, and I was like, oh brilliant. But luckily I could reschedule it and actually go on it. An amazing experience, highly recommend it. I done the doors off helicopter ride, and whilst I was there, luckily it got rearranged because I met this girl there who, it was her first solo trip, her first time in New York, travelled the same days as each other. However, she lives in Toronto and I obviously live in London, but we was on the same helicopter ride, we sat opposite each other, and it was so lovely because we had so much in common, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. And it happened by chance. After the helicopter ride, we exchanged Instagrams, and then she went her way to her hotel and then I went to mine, and then we said let's meet up later on to get a drink together. Went to a really lovely bar, got a drink. She brought her cousin, again just meeting new people, just connecting. It was so lovely. And then her cousin took us to Soho House in New York. Sorry, what? That literally is by chance. We went to like this comedy night, and that is so much fun to be able to just meet people, live in the moment, just say, yeah, I want to do this thing. So yeah, I didn't have an intention with meeting anyone there, but I did meet some amazing people, and I'm so glad I had that sort of like opportunity. In Paris, I actually went with the intention of networking. So with Paris, I saw online that there was this event for female founders and female entrepreneurs to basically have a dinner together, and I thought, I've never been to Paris. I'm a female entrepreneur. I want to meet women like me. I want to be in bigger rooms, bigger tables, bigger conversations. I want conversations that light me up and feel connected. So I booked that event. Again, went there, was wandering around Paris alone, and then I went to this dinner. Oh my god, the conversations. These women are incredible. I connected with people that way, not by chance, but by putting myself in a bigger room. So I went alone, but I knew I was going to that dinner where I knew nobody, but I was ready to just basically open up. With Dubai, this is literally my first full day. Like I woke up here this morning, I'm going to sleep here. Yesterday I arrived and then I only slept. I don't really have intentions of meeting anyone or networking. I think Dubai, I've heard, is a great place to network. And I know like other guys, the camera, the battery exhausted, so I was a bit worried because I was like, that doesn't sound good. It's not just low on battery, it's exhausted. But we're back and I'm here to finish off that Q&A. So I want to finish off the question in regards to networking and finding people. And I believe I finished off basically saying that I do know other like online coaches that live in Dubai because we follow each other on Instagram. I haven't really gone out my way to message anybody just because of the type of trip it is, and honestly I just really wanted to spend time in solitude. But I also wanted to give you some tips in case you are someone who wants to go on a solo trip but you actually want to network network, you want to meet people, you want to potentially make friends, I would generally say two things. First of all, you could always book a solo trip as part of a group. I've had clients do that in the past, and they've gone, I think, Japan and Italy, and they basically book it to go alone. But then whilst they're there, they're like with a group of people, and they tend to make friends there. So I think that's one option, because it's like you are still going alone, you're being independent, but you're also going to be in a group, so it's going to feel safer, you're going to have some connections, and you're going to meet some new people there, right? So it's not going to feel like completely alone. I think that's also really good in terms of like a stepping stone. The other thing I would say is, obviously in New York I met that girl when I went for that helicopter ride, is book onto excursions, book onto things where you're going to be in a group environment. When I'm away, to be honest, I mostly just do spend time alone. So this trip I've pretty much been alone, and I've gone out for like dinners. I personally tend to pick like bigger chain restaurants, because I think that's really like outside of my comfort zone, and it's quite nice to be able to take yourself to dine out somewhere that's, you know, a bit more up there, a bit more bougie. Actually have to get like dressed up, wear a nice dress, because you're dating yourself. It's like you're showing up as like a, yeah, I'm here dressed for me. But what I would say is, obviously when I booked that helicopter ride and I met that lovely girl, that's because it was like a group situation, so you're more likely to go to meeting point, meet people, and just don't be afraid to say hi and talk to people first. I was never that girl, but then I think I literally had to realize, like, you have to be that person. You have to be the person who says hi. Like, how can you expect everybody to say hi to you and you not to say hi first? It doesn't make sense. You're literally like cock blocking yourself. I'm gonna get up the other questions. I'm not gonna lie, I actually recorded this, but I realized I forgot to put mascara on, and I watched the clip and I was like, that ain't cute. So I know one of them was about safety, which we've briefly covered. Not going solo, but going to Dubai next week. Any food recommendations? Currently no, apart from Shimmers. I went to Shimmers last night and I went for sunset. Stunning. I went at 5:45. The sunset was around 10 to 7, around like 7 p.m. And you have the table for 2 hours. So beautiful, so beautiful. Again, a place where you're surrounded by people that are on like date nights and birthdays, and I went by myself. But what a place to be. Stunning, stunning, stunning. Apart from that, I really don't have recommendations. The club sandwich down at the beach part of my hotel, gorgeous. Caesar salad upstairs, stunning. But it's probably just like your standard food. Nobody can do French fries wrong, in my opinion. Somebody said, I'd love to go on a solo trip. How do you get past feeling unsafe at night? So we have covered this previously in terms of safety, but I would honestly research the area, research where you're staying, and actually see if you need to be out late at night. We have any tips on close friends and partners finding it weird that you want to go on a solo trip. We're going to start with close friends. Whenever somebody finds what you are doing weird, it is usually a projection of some sort. Be really simple. It could be a lack of understanding. Your closest friends may not understand why you want to do this. I'm pretty sure nobody understood why I wanted to do a solo trip. So it's like, oh, why would you want to do that alone? Why don't you go with somebody, right? And it's because not everybody has that expansive brain that you have, who wants to think bigger and do more. Some people cap themselves and just don't even think as big as you as wanting to go on a solo trip, and that is okay. So maybe they just don't understand that you want to do this for yourself, that you want to expand your horizons, that you want to like really push yourself and just push your comfort zone, just go and explore a new place and like do things you actually want to do. It's okay if not everybody understands that, right? If they say that's weird or they judge you for it, it's usually because it's something that they potentially want to do, but they don't have the balls to do it. So like, well, that's weird that you want to do that, because they're insecure with the fact that that's something they want to do, but they don't see themselves doing it, so they're going to project onto you and be like, isn't that weird? And if it's not in like insecurity and it's more of like a judgment of like, that's really weird that you want to do that, again, it'll be some sort of projection coming from them. But as soon as you learn that whatever, like however somebody perceives something, right, it has everything to do with that person and not you. You're not weird for wanting to go on a solo trip, and you are not in control, and you cannot change how other people think and feel. Good for them. You cannot live your life pleasing other people. Like, you cannot be like, I'm not gonna go on a solo trip because my close friends think it's weird. When I put it into perspective, you think, fuck that shit. This is my life. Like, I literally live once. I don't want to get to 40 years old and think, oh, I wish I went on that trip. I wish I'd done more. Like, nobody wants that feeling. So go ahead and do it. In terms of any tips on them finding it weird, don't question them. Like, why do you think it's weird? But understand that it's a projection. Have a conversation with them. See how the conversation goes. If they can't be understanding, it's some sort of insecurity on their behalf. But that cannot stop you from going ahead and living your life. In terms of your partner, now I am a very single girly, so I may not be the best person to answer this. However, in my opinion, and this is what I seek for in a relationship, well, it will be what I seek for in a relationship, is I believe that we're all individual people, right? You are your own person and your partner is their own person. When you come together, you should be together to like lift each other up, right? To make each other's lives better. You're not each other's missing pieces. You're not like dependent on each other. You're each independent people, right? That's so empowering and that's so incredible. And you should be helping each other to rise and grow. So in my opinion, I don't believe a partner should ever think it's weird unless you say to them, I'm going on a solo trip to the place that we said that we're going to. Then it's like, what the fuck? Do you not want to go with me? Why are you not going with me? But again, I would just question it. I'd have a conversation with them. I do feel like we assume people will find it weird, so we stay silent and we stay strong. But actually, we're probably scared about how it's going to sound or look. I think the best thing we can do as human beings is just have conversations and see how the conversations go. If your partner finding it weird, if you have that conversation and you want to come back to me and like tell me how it goes, please just DM me. I'm gonna leave that one there because I could talk forever. The next one is very interesting. It says, I feel reluctant justifying spending money on myself because my own company is just that. I'm gonna assume what you mean is I can't justify spending money on myself because it is literally just my own company. And maybe you think, well, going on a solo trip is, I don't know, you don't have to spend the money to go abroad when you can just spend time with yourself in a way. If that is what you mean, I need you to understand that a solo trip is not the same as going to your local Costa and sitting there for like 20 minutes. It's not the same as going to the cinema alone. A solo trip is not the same as getting the train to your closest city and then going shopping alone. A solo trip is you exploring the world. It's you being independent. It's you living your best life. It's you being in charge of your whole itinerary. It's you not depending on anybody else. It's you figuring shit out on your own. It's you meeting new people, potentially networking, doing things that other people aren't available to do. A solo trip is so different than just spending time for yourself, right? Like the amount that you get to expand yourself is, I just cannot put into words. Like until you go on a trip and you realize how much you have to figure things out, not in a scary way, but like, oh my god, like I've made this decision and this decision. It really empowers you into being like, I can do absolutely freaking anything I put my mind to. So first of all, yes, you're still just with your own company, but you're in a different part of the world. It's freaking incredible. But the main thing that you're scared of is spending the money. You're reluctant to justify spending the money, and this is where you have a money mindset issue. And until you shift that, I think you're going to find it hard to do anything for yourself. In my opinion, and this is how I justify spending it, because I had this exact thought before New York. I'm really going to spend that much money to spend time alone. Like I could literally do that in the UK. And then I thought, but it's freaking New York. Going down the road is not the same as catching a flight. So I had to like put that into perspective. And the other thing was, in terms of the money, is I truly hand on heart believe money always comes back to me. Now that is not only money in terms of my bank account, that is also money in terms of being rich in life, with memories, being okay with being alone. In my opinion, when you're rich, it's not just like, yeah, I've got thousands in my bank account, millions in my bank account. It's, I'm so rich of life because this is my view, because I get to do this life for me. I like, no one can take that away from you. You feel reluctant justifying spending money on yourself. Your money mindset basically saying to you, I am not worth it. So you're reluctant to do it because you do not believe you are worth X amount of money. And when you put that in perspective, I just think that's not a nice place to be in. I would say you have a other fear that is stopping you. So for example, when I was like, oh, it's the money, I can't justify the money, the truth was my perfectionism was kicking in. I was scared of like doing this thing alone. I was like, what if it doesn't go right? And it was all these other things, but the smoke screen was, it's because of the money. Last year I had a mindset coach and we had to dig deep into my money mindset. We've done like 1 or 2 sessions on it, and it's honestly changed how I view money. Also, solo trips don't have to be that expensive. Let's just put that one out there as well. Paris was not that expensive. I literally went for 24 hours. I kind of wish I'd done longer, but I just went for a networking dinner. But it was literally down the road. It was literally the Eurostar. I had a really nice, like a really nice apartment to stay in, and the food was not that expensive, right? So give yourself a budget. Give yourself the amount that you need to save, let's say for the next 2-3 months to go, and do it on a budget. It doesn't have to be thousands and thousands of pounds. It doesn't have to be Dubai. It doesn't have to be New York. You just have to go to prove to yourself that you can do this thing. I think that's a really good place to end this video. I'm gonna charge this up a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get changed. I'm gonna head out to Kite Beach. I'm gonna try and take you with me because I haven't really shown you guys Dubai or like the solo trip. I've also realized I've been looking at the freaking screen and not the camera, so of course you can't tell, and it's fine, but it is what it is. Please make sure you like, subscribe. Shall see you in the next video.